Hey everybody, SinTax77 back with you for another edition of SinChats, as we're now calling it. And the topic at hand today, hiking poles. This is a question I often get in various iterations, if you will. I'll get questions like, hey, I noticed you don't use hiking poles. That could probably help you. Check it out. Or, hey, I noticed you used to use hiking poles and now you don't. What gives? What changed? Do you hate people who use hiking poles? Do you think that people who use hiking poles shouldn't be allowed to vote? Things of that nature. And then on the flip side, I get people saying, thank you for not using ski poles. Or, hey, why are you using ski poles? You're an idiot. Nice messages of that nature. But overall, the theme is, how do I feel about hiking poles? Or do I not like them anymore, etc.? No, I think they're a very valuable tool. And I used to use them all the time, but it really depends on your personal situation, your physical situation, your terrain, how much weight you're carrying, experience level in general with hiking different types of situations. Me personally, when I first started, I carried some ridiculous amount of weight. My first trip, I know Mike carried like over 60 pounds, something insane, and I think I was between like 40 and 50. Huge pack. I don't even think I could replicate it if I tried. I don't even know how I carried that much. But anyway, long story short, carried a lot. And for that heavier weight, especially with my lower experience level as well, these came in really handy. For saving you from falls, just, your balance goes off a little bit, hiking pole goes down before you do. So I found that to be very helpful for that. And then also, if you have any issues with knees, even if you don't have issues with knees, if you use hiking poles on the way down, you're going to take a lot of stress off your knees. So I find it really valuable for that. In fact, I even have some friends I hike with now that have lighter loads, but they have knee problems consistently when they go downhill. It's like, I think the hiking poles might be worth the extra pound or two to bring. So they do have their values. Now, trust me, there are times where I feel like I wish I did have some poles and I would benefit from them. But when you're down to like 9 or 10 pounds and a pound or two of poles, that's a big percentage of your weight. So I can't really justify it for overall. I just think I benefit more personally without them. And if I do a water crossing or something, I'll grab a stick and I can kind of make things work. But it should also be noted that you don't have to hike with two. Probably get by a lot of times with just one, in which case you can cut your price in half. Although if I got a really nice lightweight pair, which I probably would, it would still be pretty expensive. But that is an option. Could invest in one single 5-ounce pole just to have that available in your pack. I still bring them in the winter, but not in the summer or 3-season, spring, summer, fall. When I go in those seasons nowadays, I've got my pack weight, base weight down to below 10 pounds. So for me, there's not a huge extra amount of weight coming down on my knees. It's more natural walking with, my total pack weight is never over 20 pounds anymore. It's usually in the high teens with food and water and everything. So it's a little more natural walking compared to in the winter. I might have a 30-something pound pack, if depending on our situations and tools we're bringing and stuff like that. And also snowshoes on my feet, ice and snow involved. So we're back to that possibility of falling, slipping, and then also just more weight coming down on your knees. So I do have a pair that I bought recently for winter hiking of Black Diamond Mountain FLs, Ultra Mountain FLs. You see how they pop together in 3 pieces there. I really like these, but they are a little more expensive. Whereas my first pair, these were $15 a piece. I don't think I realized that at first. I went on Amazon and was real excited that I got a pair of hiking poles for $15, and then one showed up. So it was actually $30 a pair. The problem with these is, for anybody out there, if you're just starting, I'd say it's still worth it, but don't expect to get more than a couple years use out of these, depending on your usage, maybe even a year and a half. Out of the 2 pairs of these, I've had 4 poles total. Both have failed on me. These ones I think I managed to fix. Yeah. But I'll fix them and then I get to the trailhead and they're messed up again. It's something with the threading in there on the cheaper models. I think you can, I have messed with them and fixed them. You can take them apart. It's like grime gets on the threads in there or something. Anyway, long story short, you can save a lot of money by doing this. but they will break eventually. But if you're just starting, I'd say go ahead. That would be worth it. If they last 2 years, it's $15 a year. And you might find out, like me, that you don't even need hiking poles down the road. Or, like me, for winter, this is, the Mountain FLs are a more robust version. They weigh about 10 ounces a piece, whereas you can get these down to like 5 ounces. But you're also going to pay like 100. These weren't, but for the 5 ounce guys, you can pay up to $180. So I think there's probably better things you can spend your money on until you figure out what your needs are, like these cheap ones here. But me personally, I don't use them in the summer, but those summer ones, they're not going to hold up as well in the winter. They're just not meant for the abuse and the pounding. Matter of fact, they won't even come with these snow baskets here on those summer Z poles, which is what these foldable ones are called. They won't even come with the summer poles. They don't suggest you use them in the winter. These, at the time, last year, were the only ones I could find that could do that. So I got them, and they can take more of a beating, and I can collapse them, fold them down like you saw, put them on my pack, and for 1 pound, 5 ounces, I got some peace of mind with me. So yeah, those are my hiking pole thoughts, if you will. So the answer to the question this week, why don't I use hiking poles? There you go. And do I hate them? No, they're a great tool. So there you go. Until next time, I'm SinChats77. Have fun out there.